What's going on? Brian Tong here, and this is my review for Samsung's highly anticipated QN900C, and this is a beauty. The QN900C isn't their first mini LED TV, but it's been refined and improved in this 8K, yes, 8K 65-inch model right next to me here. And yes, it has the 75 and 85-inch size options as well, but while other companies are shying away from 8K because its adoption isn't happening as fast as they would like, Samsung said, we don't care, and this is the most advanced 8K television on the market for consumers today. So we'll talk about the QN900C's display and its picture quality, the design and its features, and who this TV makes the most sense for. Maybe some of you, all right? So Samsung, they sent this TV out to me just for the purpose of this review, but it's going right back out to them when I'm done. I know. And this review is not one of those that is going to be using calibration tools to give you specific performance metrics, but the goal here is to highlight what stands out and help you make the right purchasing decision for you. Okay, now right out of the gates, I can confidently say that the QN900C has stellar image quality. It's at the top of its class for mini LED TVs in the market today, and they call it their Neo QLED 8K TV, and it features their Quanta Matrix Pro with mini LED tech. Samsung's mini LED is 1/40th smaller than the standard LED. That's the same size as a grain of sand, and the display has 33 times more LEDs than before for more finite control and accuracy for this 8K TV. Now, Samsung brought their first mini LED TV out to the US in 2021, so things have improved a whole lot since then, and you can tell. Now, the gold standard for image quality has always been OLED displays, which allow the TV to individually control and turn on and off each individual pixel, which gets you really unrivaled control and the deepest blacks that you'll find, which I love. And mini LED is still a backlit display that has backlit zones or areas, and it can't control every single pixel individually, but with mini LED, there are now significantly more zones with smaller LEDs that allow it to bring you deeper blacks, more detail, and less of that blooming effect where a white image against a black background can kind of bleed out with a glow around it. So the QN900C has over 1,000 dimming zones, and I do want to show you that blooming can still be there at times. I mean, right? Let's be honest. And a DSLR camera doesn't capture it as well, but shooting the screen with my iPhone gives you a better idea of that blooming, or what we call the halo effect. And again, it's around something that's bright white text or logos specifically against a black background. And this is just the nature of the technology versus OLED. Some of you might have never even noticed this until I just showed you. But this doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen often, but there are instances mostly with movies or TV show titles where you'll see that effect. Otherwise, you won't. But don't worry, because as you've seen already, all the other images that I show off here are absolutely stellar. I mean, the images here speak for themselves, and you're not even seeing them in person. So the QN900C supports HDR10, HDR10 Plus, and HLG for dynamic range, but they still do not support Dolby Vision on their TVs. They support Dolby Atmos for audio, but they do not support Dolby Vision. And there are some of you out there who will say, hey, well, HDR10 Plus takes care of all the dynamic range content. And for some people, Samsung still not having Dolby Vision support might be a deal breaker for them. Samsung's Neo QLED 8K gives us even better black levels than before and details that get us closer to really an OLED image. This results in a higher contrast while maintaining Samsung's superior brightness in the TV space, while also getting you deeper blacks and less of that blooming effect. Now, when you're watching this, you won't think about OLED or mini LED. Honestly, you'll just be blown away by the image quality. If your TV is in an area that gets a lot of natural light coming in, like an open living room, having a bit brighter TV screen makes a big difference, and it's where Samsung TVs have been able to really outperform OLEDs still to this day. OLED TVs are getting better, they're getting brighter, and they look great, especially if they're placed in a darker environment. But not everyone has a blackout curtain living room or a man cave, and Samsung excels with its top tier brightness up to 2200 nits peak brightness in filmmaker mode. And that mode preserves the director's creative intent and shows movies and TV shows the way that filmmakers intended. And it's been measured even higher with calibration tools. So remember that super dark Game of Thrones battle scene that people were complaining about in season 8, episode 3. Maybe you were one of them. You know who you are, but you just needed a better TV. So this TV can get bright, and HDR content requires almost no tone mapping here. Bottom line, the images here are absolutely impressive with punchy highlights that pop off the screen with the right type of content and deeper blacks and vibrant colors. Now, this is a showcase for how good Mini LED has gotten in the past few years. I look at this and it's incredible. The QN900C once again does set the standard for brightness in a flagship TV right now, and hopefully what you're seeing translates well on screen. And I've included samples from different times of the day throughout this video just for you to see how it performs overall. To me, it's fun to review TVs like this that are absolutely at the top of their class. Now, you might think, okay, why do I need an 8K TV if there isn't much 8K content? And you make a great point, but I think the thing that a lot of people miss is that 8K is important for upscaling, specifically when you're looking to get a bigger, larger screen in the 75-inch or higher variety. The QN900C does just that with its 8K resolution AI upscaling. You won't see the benefit of it as much on something like this 65-inch display. With larger ones, you will, and that's everything from TV shows to movies and to games. It also has an anti-glare, and it does a pretty good job of keeping those reflections tame, but in a bright living room with light coming in from many angles, it dulls them, but it won't just eliminate every reflection. Now, Samsung has improved its wide-angle viewing that they call it ultra viewing angle. And look, you can basically get right up to the side here and still see the image looking just as good, nearly as head-on, without any change. So the viewing angle is excellent here and has really come a long way from previous backlit models. And since we're doing that, we should also focus on its minimal bezel, right? You might be looking at this and you're like, wait, where? You can barely see the bezel. Well, you're getting right up to the side here, right to the edge, with a super thin bezel on the left, the top, the right, and then just a slightly thicker one on the bottom. But the near bezel-less design, this is edge to edge 8K. It just ups the beauty factor and enhances the viewing experience. I love how this TV looks. And then you'll have that minimal stand on the bottom, and it is a similar design to what we've seen in the past. But head on, this thing looks great. Now the display itself, it's 0.6 inches thick on the side, and you won't see cords hanging out from the side of the TV or all over the place. You don't have to worry about that because the Samsung One Connect box is back and slimmer than ever. It was once a chunkier brick, but it's almost like a square, low-profile box. It has a little larger footprint that connects the display with a single cable onto the back. Then you can hide this behind your TV cabinet with no long cables. You can see there are no cables sticking out anywhere, at least I hope not in this shot. And then you can hide this behind your TV cabinet, again, with that longer cable. Or if you want, you have it lined up and mounted directly to the back of the back side of that stand, and everything is pretty much hidden. All the connectivity here, including 4 HDMI ports that all support HDMI 2.1 features, 3 USB 2.0 connections, and a LAN port and Wi-Fi 6E support. And that helps future-proof it because not only does HDMI 2.1 support 4K at 120 frames per second for gaming, which you like, but it also supports 8K at 60 frames per second if that ever actually happens. Ever. Which is the perfect way for us to transition a little and talk about gaming on this TV. Now, game mode on Samsung TVs detect when a gaming console is connected to it, and it still has the pop-up bar that lets you tweak game-specific settings for yourself. You can choose from a lot of presets depending on what style of games you're playing, from an RPG to a first-person shooter and others, or choose different levels of Game Motion Plus for smoothing out gameplay. There's also a variety of game mode settings that you can really get into if you want to get granular and specific about things. It was also reported that this is only a 9.6 millisecond lag in Samsung's game mode, which was only bested by Samsung's own S95C OLED at 9.2 milliseconds. So this is a TV where gaming excels as well. Now, multi-view is back, and if you really want to watch that game guide on YouTube, or look up how to find that hidden piece of swag, or complete a mission, or just multitask, you can do that here. All the streaming apps you can think of are also here. You know, you got Netflix, to Disney Plus, to Max, and more. Samsung also brings back its Solar Cell 1 remote. I have it back here, and it has no batteries at all, and it recharges using natural light or artificial light like the one in this room. And it has quick shortcut buttons to some of the apps I mentioned before and more. And the remote is truly one of the most genius and innovative ideas to happen to TVs in the past few years. Audio coming directly from this TV sounds really, really good, and for good reason. It is packed with a 6.2.4 speaker system inside the TV. That doesn't include a soundbar, which will only enhance its audio even more when you pair a Samsung TV to a Samsung soundbar. Samsung's Object Tracking Sound Pro feature analyzes objects on screen so the sound moves with them. If you have something like a motorcycle coming across the screen, it'll adjust to that. And audio just sounded full. It had a wide range and a large soundstage on here. And if we're just talking about TVs overall, without the help of soundbars, I did feel like dialogue and center channel audio here was very good here, but not as good as some of Sony TV's OLEDs, where it's actually vibrating the surface of their display, and that actually allows it to act as a center channel for audio. So dialogue coming right directly at you, you know, you can hear differences between that and surrounding environmental sounds from this. I'm just bringing it up because this is coming from someone who loves TVs and notices these things, because I am fortunate enough to be able to compare them over time, and you can definitely tell where these different TVs excel in different ways. But the audio from the QN900C with Dolby Atmos support still sounds great. So let's get to it. Who does this TV make sense for? Well, if you're a tech lover who wants the best image quality at an 8K resolution, this is one of the most premium TVs that Samsung has ever released to date that I can think of, and it brings everything that you need, that you want to the table, except for Dolby Vision for me, and that is important to me, but it's not really. Most general consumers, they don't care, they don't see, they just want a great killer looking picture, and that's what you're gonna get here. Now, if you're looking to get this TV, you're also gonna be paying a premium with this 65-inch model version I have here, starting at $4,999 at retail. The 75-inch starts at $6,299, and the 85-inch starts at $7,999. So that's really the top of the line quantum dot OLED pricing, right? That's that high end for TVs for this 8K mini LED TV, but there are some promo deals out there that you can get right now. And if you're looking at this TV, you're getting it because it has 8K support and 8K upscaling for content for 8K on a big, big screen. And if that's you, right, I would recommend the 75 or 85-inch versions, because that's where you're gonna get all the benefits and see them, instead of on something like a 65-inch version. Now, if you live in a bright space where you plan on putting this TV, this is going to be a winner for you as well. Samsung has brought arguably the best 8K mini LED TV to the market, and you're gonna pay for it, you will, but the QN900C's luxurious design and top-of-the-line features make it truly one of the best 8K TVs and one of the best TVs that you can get this year.